A few days ago, we checked out the Andrew Tate and KSI feud, which had interested millions worldwide when KSI made the call out. Since this, something that would entirely break the internet is Andrew Tate appearing on Joe Rogan's podcast. There has been recent speculation he'll appear on PowerfulJRE podcast very soon. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video for the full details. Welcome back to Loaf. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and switch on the notification bell to receive updates on new celebrity videos. Let's jump right into the video and find out if Andrew Tate really will appear on Joe Rogan's podcast, as well as Joe's thoughts on Tate himself. Joe Rogan speaks on having Andrew Tate on his podcast. Only last week, Joe Rogan was asked a question about having Andrew Tate on his podcast, and his response may surprise some of you.
Would you ever have Tate on your podcast?
It's a conversation, right?
Yeah. You know,
especially now. Took him over to Rumble, which is, but it severely limits the amount of stuff you can have out there. Is he banned from YouTube? I don't believe.
Yes.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yes. YouTube too. Wow.
Yep.
Joe Rogan himself has never shied away from having opposing figures on his podcast, and Andrew Tate would be no different. So it would make sense, especially from a viewing standpoint. Although with Joe's Spotify deal, it would have a massive impact if Spotify don't want to associate with Tate like the majority of platforms now. Is this something you guys would want to see? As I would certainly love to see how a Tate and Rogan podcast would unfold. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. It's evident Joe Rogan fans will love to see Tate on the podcast, with top comments like, "This is the podcast the world is asking for," and not interrupted by Rogan's other crew. Just one-on-one, 3 hours. Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate would be the greatest podcast in history. Put 'em on, Joe. Bring 'em on. Nothing but love from Andrew Tate. All the people that state publicly online that they don't want to see that are bullshitting. If it got released, they would be the first ones to listen, watch the podcast, no doubt about it. Andrew Tate speaks on Joe Rogan. Yesterday on Rumble, which is the new platform Andrew Tate and his brother stream on, briefly mentioned Joe Rogan's support and how he would love to go on his podcast.
And then Joe Rogan was talking about us and again, making very, very valid points about the censorship and the fucking garbage that's going on in the world today and how this eventually has to stop.
Shout out to Joe Rogan and his boys.
But I think Joe and I, at some point in the future, are going to have a nice long conversation.
Since Tate has essentially been banned off every single popular social media app, the people that previously, quote, supported or follow Andrew Tate has shied away. Two people that come to mind have been KSI and Logan Paul. Joe Rogan seems to be one of the only few that hasn't publicly bashed him as of yet and still wants to collaborate with him.
I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very interesting time.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. It's probably the only thing I'd bother traveling to America for. So I look forward to getting in touch with Joe again. We were talking on Instagram before my Instagram got taken down, but I have other routes to get through to him and talk to Joe. So I'm really excited to get in touch with him once again. And there's been a whole bunch of other people who stuck up for us.
Hopefully soon enough, we see the Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan podcast, because whether you want to admit it or not, it would break the internet first day of release and would be one of the most controversial podcasts to date. No doubt about it. Especially with the deplatforming of Andrew Tate. It would only amplify the podcast even more. Andrew Tate addresses Logan Paul. On a recent Impulsive episode, Logan Paul stated that he was going to release a call-out video to Andrew Tate, but decided upon not doing so. And shortly after was when Tate got blacklisted off all social media apps.
And we're going to dive into Andrew Tate. I don't feel like platforming this guy. I don't feel like giving him the blessing of being my dance partner in the ring, especially after the social media platforms have made it very clear how they feel about this guy, right? And I would even put a little call out here to like fellow creators and even JJ, like, you want to re-platform this guy?
In my opinion, it's extremely hypocritical considering the second chance Logan Paul was given from the platforms he expresses his opinions on and the public only after a few years. Tate was quick to see Logan's podcast and reacted to it on his most recent stream.
Logan is a man who says things that because he thinks he's supposed to say them, which makes him an agent of the Matrix, makes him a coward. And let me make something very, very clear. When I say the Matrix, I mean the Matrix, because they have managed to alter reality in real time by controlling narratives, by preventing the other side of opinions to speak. If I say he's a bad man, Susan, can I keep my account?
Tate isn't wrong at all. Logan does cater to mob mentality on most occasions and is in fear of speaking his true mind and thoughts, as he's got to cater to the platforms he's on, while maintaining the masses' views on things whether he likes it or not. Otherwise, his brand will crumble. This concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.